So my name is Abdelfattah Abusrour. I am founder and director of Arwad Cultural and Arts Society in Aida Refugee Camp, Bethlehem. I founded it with a group of friends in 1998 with a philosophy that I call beautiful resistance. Partly because I believe every act of resistance against injustice, oppression, occupation is a beautiful act of humanity. And resisting through culture, arts, education are a great acts of resistance. The aim was how to save lives, how to inspire hope, how to give our children and young people possibilities to express themselves in the most beautiful, creative, and hopefully non-armed ways, and think living rather than dying for their country or whatever cause they are defending. As a parent, and as every parent in the world, we don't want to see our children die. We want to see them grow up, make miracles, change the world, and create a change that they and we can be proud of, and not just be a number on a list of martyrs or handicapped for the rest of their lives or perish in Israeli prisons. And hopefully when the time comes, they will be the ones walking in our funerals and not the other way around. So that's why we started with theater, because I believe theater is one of the most amazing, powerful, civilized, truthful, non-politically correct ways to express yourself. Shout as loud as you want. And hopefully this will be a way to build a peace within yourself. Because if you lack peace within yourself, how can you make peace with anybody? And to be truthful, to say what you want to say, to tell your story, your version of your story and history, and not to be diplomatically correct or try to please others by this diplomatic false diplomacy and so on. Because if you are not again truthful to yourself, how can you be truthful with anybody? So that was the essence of it. And then the second intifada started. So the center shifted into an emergency medical clinic, a media center, a school for supportive education program for children who have difficulties in learning and trauma with this continuous incursions by the Israeli occupation army. Aida camp is one of the most exposed to incursions because of its location, north of Bethlehem, south of Jerusalem, surrounded by this illegal wall of expansion and annexation since 2002 as barbed wires, and in 2004-2005 with these blocks of cement that go 3 meters deep in the ground and 8 meters above the ground, with 5 towers of snipers, cameras of surveillance, and so on. This camp was classified the zone the most exposed to tear gas in the world. And probably yesterday you have smelled some of the tear gas, because as most of the days there is incursions by the Israeli occupation army. The second thing was, with or without money we do it. Because this philosophy is trying to tell people we are not a humanitarian cause, but it is a political cause. And the humanitarian tragedy is linked to the occupation. It's them who deprive us from circulating freely, importing, exporting, manufacturing, even falling in love with whoever we want, with this segregation between Palestine, 48, Jerusalem, Gaza, the West Bank, the world. So if people want to support us financially or otherwise, it should be an act of partnership. Come, discuss with us, help us do what we really need to do, and be proud of what we achieve together, building infrastructures, creating jobs, help people keep their dignity, and not to transform them into charity actions. And for those who want to do charity, make it positive, constructive, and developmental rather than just passive or negative and throw some crumbs on the table and say we have helped these poor miserable people to remain miserable for eternity. But again, you respond to the needs by helping people keep their dignity and help us to create the infrastructures we want, the image we want to show of ourselves, and not to keep the misery going on. We are victims of this oppression and occupation, injustice of UN resolutions and the colonization countries. But we are not weeping on our misery and waiting for miracles to happen. I don't believe miracles will happen alone, so we need to provoke them to happen. And hopefully those partners who want to be part of this miracle creation are welcome to join us as friends of Arwad or friends of Palestine and so on. Theater is one of the most amazing and powerful ways, but it's not only the only one. And so we added dance, singing, music, photography, video. We work with kindergartens, with the schools, with parents. We focused a lot on mothers and women, because also I believe it's women who change the world. So So it was important to help empower them and help build their peace within themselves, to be peace builders in their homes, in their community, and beyond. And we have mobile beautiful resistance programs that goes all over the West Bank with a minibus. We circulate with theater trainer, dance trainer, games libraries. We started creating our games to make education fun and not just dictation and memorization. And we want children to know all the answers in the world, but don't know how to ask a question or how to express themselves in a creative and positive way and talk about their dreams and hopes, and not just being in desperate situation. A lot of people, when they come here, they say, it's very complicated, it's hopeless, and so on. So I say we don't have this luxury of despair. This is not a heritage that we can be proud to leave to our children and the generations to come. And it's not so complicated when somebody comes and occupy your house and chase you away, to say that, well, it's very complicated to tell him that this is not just and you should just accept the facts on the ground. Facts on the ground do not erase the rights of people. And with all the pain, sympathy, and empathy to Jews and their suffering, we were not the cause of their suffering. So we refuse to pay for the crimes of the Nazis or Europe or whoever. Palestine was, is, and will continue to be a land of multiplicity and diversity, where Muslim, Christians, Israelites, Jews, whatever, have lived and will continue to live. But this is not an exclusive country. This is an inclusive country, where people should and will continue to be treated on equal grounds. So anybody who come and say it's only me and God promised me this land, God is not a real estate agent, and people have the right to defend themselves, whatever means they choose, according to every law of the world. In the case of Palestinians, yes, there are people who chose armed struggle, but almost 99% of Palestinians never carried a gun in their life. And they resisted to a lot of creative and non-armed ways. And they asked the international community and people of the world to join them in the non-armed struggle through the BDS, boycott, divestment, sanction, calling upon morals, humanity, respect, and equality. And people who are trying to do that suffer also from a lot of accusations and blackmailing of being anti-Semitic or whatever. As if you are deprived from any non-armed way to resist or oppose oppression and occupation, you are told to be just a terrorist and go and explode yourself, because this is the only way left if you are not even in your own countries, which present themselves as the vehicle for democracy and the freedom for oppressed people. They are oppressing you and using such immoral and non-violent way. Ar-Rawad was, is, and will continue to be respectful to these principles of equality, justice, freedom, and respect of the right of people to defend themselves, and defense of the victims regardless of their color or their religion. So identify with oppressed people in the world. We identify with those who are oppressed in China or in Myanmar or in India or in the indigenous Americans or the indigenous Australians or the Tibetans or whoever. We identify with those who are oppressed, and we will not defend the oppressor in whatever way. If you have a friend who is a drug addict, of course you will not continue to provide him or her with drugs and say he might or she might recover one day. She will be worse, and she will be more sick, and she will never or he will never recover, because you provide him with the tool he needs to remain in this bad situation. And this is the case for those who support Israel and continuing this apartheid system and so on. Ar-Rawad try to provide possibilities and opportunities to build our peace within ourselves, to be able to build it with the world, and maybe someday with the Israelis, if they manage to recover from the oppression and injustice and look at us as equal partners to shape this better future for our children and the generations to come. But there can be no peace with oppression, with injustice, with occupation. We cannot say, okay, let's negotiate. You have what you have, we have what we have, so let's live together while I'll continue eating from your dish. This is the present situation, unfortunately. And those who are talking about the two-state solution, I don't know if they are myopic or blind to see that there is no way to have two-state solution and such an expansion of colonization and so on. And there are, of course, some amazing Israelis who are probably for Palestine more than some Palestinians. But their role is next to their people, to make them understand, to stop this colonization, to stop these laws of apartheid, to stop this inequality of people who are not Jewish with Israeli nationality to be treated as equals, to demolish this illegal wall of expansion and annexation. And hopefully, when we are on equal grounds, we can do a better world for ourselves and the generations to come. But as long as occupation goes,